Hi, I'm Umar and today we will be talking about this 1999 Honda Civic. So let's start.
When this car was offered in 1996, there were two options, 1.5 EXI and 1.6 VTI. Later, with the facelift model, EI Oriel, which is the Sunroof brand name till date, was offered for the first time in this car in 1999.
This particular generation of Civic was first offered in the Pakistani market in 1996. The car received a facelift in 1999 and it was replaced with the next generation in 2001. This particular car that we are reviewing today is a 1999 facelift model. As usual, whenever a Civic is offered, the car is offered with a lot of things that have never been offered in a Pakistani car before, and this car was not any different than the other. First, I will show you all the things that were offered in this car for the first time in any Pakistan assembled car, and then we will take it for a road drive and see how it drives after all these years. So when you sit in this car, the first thing that you notice is the low sitting posture. I love that about these old 90s and 80s Hondas. When this car was launched in 1996, the pre-facelift variant was the first car ever in Pakistan to be offered with company provided alloy rims. At that time, the car came with 14-inch alloy rims, and that was something that was offered for the first time in this particular car. Then with the facelift, you got the sunroof. This particular car is the basic 1.6 VTI manual. This does not have sunroof, but this was the first car that came with sunroof. Also, you used to get option of getting leather seats. That was something for the first time offered in any Pakistani car when this car was launched, and in those leather seats you used to get 4 independent headrests. The rear headrests were also the first time offered in any Pakistani car. Apart from that, you used to get the manual seat adjustment option with the one with sunroof. The automatic transmission that is so common now. In 1996, this was the first car that was offered in Pakistan with the option of automatic transmission, the first Pakistan assembled car. The 4-wheel disc brakes, those are also offered in this particular car with in 1998. The pre-facelift variant was the first one that was offered with 4-wheel disc brakes. If you look at the speedometer, this looks so dated because now we are so used to getting those fancy speedometers. If you look at the fuel gauge, this is static, like this is that magnetic fuel gauge that you used to get back in those days, where the fuel it stays where it is when the car is turned off. It still shows the correct fuel thing. This is not something that we get anymore. Coming in the center, you have buttons which are the click button. So like when you press a button, it makes a clicking sound and the other button pops out. This is how it used to be back in that day, and this was the normal feature. Then you have the fans are like this. In the center you have your hazards and the rear defogger button over there. Then over here you get 2 storage pockets. You get your manual gear shifter, you get a storage space, you get another armrest and the storage space with the armrest. If you look at the interior of this car, you don't get any cup holders, which are a norm nowadays, but that's how it was back in that time. You also got, for the first time, you got the trunk powered antenna. Coming in the center, this car does not have a lot of space in terms of the leg space, but that is because now in 20 years the things have evolved in a way that you are used to getting bigger and more spacious cars. But when it came out, this is the space that you used to get, and this was sufficient. Also, you have a armrest. This armrest does not come with cup holders like we are used to getting today, but this came with a soft cushioned armrest, which was the normal armrest back at that time. There are no cup holders in the doors, there are no door pockets in the doors, there are no cup holders in the center. That was how it used to be back then. If you look at the seats, the fabric is still very clean. Even the car is used for 20 years. The fabric is extremely clean. You get good headroom over here. These were all the interesting features in this Honda Civic. Now let's see how it drives after 20 years of usage. Alright, so now we are driving this Honda Civic. I'm on a bumpy road because I wanted to see how the suspension is, and surprisingly the suspension does not have a lot of noise or anything of the sort. The only noise I can hear is of the tires, and that is understandable. The best thing I like about these old cars is how smooth and soft the suspension is on these cars, and the closer to ground feeling, I really like this feeling, because it gives you kind of a compact and sporty feel. That's my personal opinion. In the newer cars, when you are sitting at a higher position, you don't get this feel of on those cars as you get in these cars, the little older cars. Now let's just try to floor it. Yeah, the manual gearbox and the 1.6 liter VTI engine, the VTEC engine is what their technology is. Now they have that iWeight VTEC, but the feel and the thrust that you get on these cars, and what is special about this particular car is that this is still being driven on petrol. These cars, 90% of these cars have been switched on to CNG. So if you are able to find a car that is still being driven on petrol, then that is an added plus. And then you have a manual gearbox. These cars have a lot of potential when it comes to modifying and adding those bigger exhausts and bigger engines and whatnot, and which is why these cars are loved by all the racers, all the guys who do this speed and everything. They love this one, the generation before this one, the one that is called Dolphin shape, and the one that came after this one, the 2006 one, the FD, which came after this one. That particular car does not have as much potential of this modification as this one. The brakes, even though they are not ABS brakes, but they are still pretty sharp. The four-wheel disc brakes, they're still pretty good. And the turning cycle, let's just try out the turning radius on this car. Take a U-turn from here and see how it turns. So yeah, the turning radius isn't that bad either. Let me show you the acceleration. Yeah, being on petrol, this is really the advantage is that you're getting a car which is not being touched by CNG. Apart from that, the running price for these cars nowadays is somewhere, they start at 500,000 rupees and they go somewhere around 700 plus, depending on the condition, depending on what kind of a variant you are getting in this car. That is the running price of these cars. This particular car is 123,000 driven, and I personally feel that
The car has aged really nicely. I don't see a lot of wear and tear in the interior. That's where you will be spending most of your time, and the air conditioning works really good. The engine is in good nick. The suspension is not as worn out, or there aren't many sounds on suspension that you would say. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying this manual feeling on the car. The fuel average on these cars is somewhere around 8 to 9. If you drive with a lighter foot, you won't get more than 8 to 9 kilometer per liter. This is an earlier stage of EFI engine.
That was all about our review of this Honda Civic. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can click here. If you'd like to watch more videos, you can click here and over here. Please let us know in the comment section what you think about this review. This car is also available for sale, so if you want to contact the owner and buy this car, the link for that ad is given in the description, so you can contact the owner directly and buy this car. Till next time, bye.